Question number 21. I personally love this question. You know why? Because it has a fraction and you guys freak out. Okay, so 2 ingredients in the recipe are 2.5 cups of flour and 1.5 cups of sugar. If June keeps the proportion the same, how many cups of flour should she add to 4 cups of sugar? So obviously we're dealing with sugar and flour. Sugar and flour, you can do it the other way. Flour, sugar, okay? Now the problem here is, how am I going to deal with the mixed number, right? Piece of cake. What's 2.5? How do you write 2.5? In decimal. So if you want to plug in this number in your calculator, how are you going to put it in? What's 2.5? It's 2.5. And what's 1.5? It's 1.5. So it's really not a big deal. Just switch them to decimals and put them in your calculator as such. Okay? So let's solve our problem. So we have sugar, flour, right? So put sugar, flour equals sugar, flour. Okay? So by looking at the number, I have 2.5 cups of flour. So I put 2.5 of flour. You see how it's important to put the names first, so you know exactly where your numbers are going. Matches with 1.5 cups of sugar. So I put 1.5 up there. And then they give you the sugar amount, which is 4 cups of sugar. And you need to figure out, obviously, how many cups of flour that is, okay? So go ahead and cross multiply and cross multiply, okay? So you're going to multiply 4 times 2.5 and the answer is 10. So you're going to write 10. And you're going to divide that by 1.5 and the answer is 6.666 and so on. Now you're going to go back to your answer choices and you're going to be puzzled. Where is this answer? It's simple enough that we can do this. Let me show you a little trick. Have you guys heard of the process of elimination? Let's do that. Okay, so when you go to your answer choices, can this be my answer? Obviously not, because what's 3 3/4? It's 3.75 if you were to write it in decimal form, right? But my answer, remember, my final answer was 6.666 and so on, right? Now, so this D is definitely not my answer, so I'm going to cross that out. It's not my answer. Okay? How about letter C? Can it be 5? No, obviously, because my answer is 6 point something, right? So it cannot be letter C either. So I'm going to cross that out. So guess what? I'm 50-50 now, okay? If you look at letter B, they only gave you 6. If you look at your answer, it says it's 6.666. Now the problem here is, if you were to round it down or up, you're going to have to go to 7, right? Not down to 6. So this answer would not work out, simply because if you were to round this number, you're going to have to round it up because it's closer to 7 than it is closer to 6. And the only one that's left, it's 6 2/3. Now go to your calculator and divide 2 by 3. You're going to get 0.666 and so on, which means this 2/3 is 0.666. So your final answer actually is A, and it matches 6.666. Now the reason why you got your answer that way is because, remember, we changed these two numbers at the beginning. We changed them to decimals, and that's why our final answer happens to be in decimals. Okay? Alright, so your final answer is A, or 6 2/3.